drugs are everywhere in just about every community.
People think that it's only in the city and in the projects. That's not true. We go to a suburban school, a lot of middle class, high class kids, and it's extremely easy to get drugs.
You hear stories like on the news about them and like friends who have friends that do drugs.
A lot of people at public schools do drugs, but then again, at private schools, a lot of people do drugs because they have more money for it.
You're going to end up doing other drugs by your environment, by like who you're around, who you hang out with.
If a group of people are doing drugs and there's nothing else to do, you're going to do it just to have something to do. It is a lot boredom, especially when we're at this age. We don't have a car, we can't go out and do a lot.
The different drugs you take can often depend on the different people you hang out with.
Drugs touches every clique, even if you're the brainy clique, or whatever, you're going to get offered, things to keep you up to study.
A group of people are doing that are really cool. That's what you have to do to, get into that group.
I do hang around people who do them, and you kind of feel like you're not really included. Sometimes you're like, oh, maybe I'm not so popular because of that.
If somebody's your friend, they'll respect your decision not to do it. I think it's more self-pressure, you think that if you don't do it, you're not accepted.
Some people do it because they say, I'm depressed, this helps me relax.
Teenagers will turn to drugs as an escape, a way to get away from the rest of their life.
It's fun while you're doing it because it takes you off into another world and you really don't know what's going on. You feel really good when you're doing it, but then when you're done you feel the same way you started out to feel.
Weed is the easiest drug to get.
Most people just try it more than any other drug.
Potheads who have gotten kicked out of school, but they're just not doing their work at all. They're just smoking pot.
I have a friend, every day he gets high and everything, and I see him, and when we talk, he's sort of always depressed and always down.
Marijuana alters your perceptions and judgment. It can affect your coordination, your motivation, and your short-term memory.
I don't know. Lose your memory very easily. Very easily.
Like, for example, if you smoke a lot of weed, the next day you can't remember what you did while you were high. You don't remember, what you ate, who you were with, what you did.
While you're high, you can not remember things that are happening while you're smoking.
Marijuana, it slows down your speech. It's you start talking yeah, well, and it's the eyes start closing down, and, it's you start talking. It's everything is slowed down. It's like your battery's running out or something.
Once you do something for too long, you'll get tired of it. Because you know how something feels the first time you try and you like it? They get bored of it, so then they want to go out to try something new, which leads them to other drugs.
I think the misconception is that once you do pot a couple times, you're automatically going to do harder drugs and you're a pothead. No, I don't think that's so. I think that you can do pot a couple of times and not be a drug addict.
I know a lot of people who are into cocaine and crack, but I think that's messed up. I would never do that. I'm not going to get into other drugs because that's going to really mess me up.
Cocaine, crack, and angel dust, heroin.
The one time you experiment with it could get you addicted.
Some of the problems with the hard drugs are that they're highly addictive, and that even with one use, you crave it to use it again.
It kind of takes over your brain and says, wow, that was fun, let's do it again. But then afterward, you just you feel kind of, I think, disappointed that it's over and you just want more.
I think drugs can get dangerous when it's all you think about and you feel like you need it to have a good time, where you can't do anything else, when you can't function, like do good in school, you don't pay attention to your family.
When you're addicted to a drug, your life revolves around it. Your time is spent trying to figure out how to get high, when your next time to get high, how do you get the money to get high again. It just, everything centers around getting high and getting the drug.
One of the other drugs that a lot of teenagers might know is acid.
LSD is a common hallucinogen that you take the drug and lots of things change as far as how you see things and what's happening either on the wall or on TV.
When you hallucinate, you imagine things, you see things that aren't really there, or, I mean, some people seem to think that they could fly.
You don't know what situation you might put yourself in or that might come about while you're on the drug. And therefore you put yourself at risk for injury or harm to yourself.
A lot of people sniff paint to get high. They sniff nail polish.
Things that you can really easily acquire, they've heard that things like that can make you a little high, and so they think it's a joke.
This kid in our class really liked whiteout, and like he'd put it all over his hands.
They think, oh, I look really cool, you know, I'm sniffing whiteout.
The teachers kept like taking the whiteout away from him.
Inhalants aren't necessarily a drug. They're basically chemicals, poisons that can cause brain damage and also can cause death.
Steroids are kind of a shortcut because they make you look like you have a lot of muscles really quickly. You don't have to work out for a long time.
You can tell that someone's using steroids. It's like they have like millions of balloons on them. It's like pow, 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 pow. It's like all over. It's like really disgusting.
Using steroids to get better at like a sport isn't fair because some people work really hard to get good at it. With steroids, you have like a really large advantage over other players because it makes you stronger and faster.
My friend, we're all thinking that he probably is using steroids, and the reason why we think that is because he has a very violent temper, and like he was just getting like really big muscles like too quick.
I don't think that steroid users have an advantage at all because it catches off in the end, you know, it really does catch up to them.
Steroids are very dangerous. They affect your brain. They can stunt your growth.
Abuse of steroids can affect your growth. Not only will it possibly make your muscles grow, but it may stunt how tall you may grow. And it can also affect sort of your reproductive health.
If they did it on their own, they could look big, but it wouldn't look so gross. It's like they have, like their veins are like popping out or something. It's like,
You don't need drugs to get massive. You can do it yourself. I mean, I played tons of sports and I have big leg muscles and I have big arm muscles, so you don't need to take steroids just to get muscular.
One of the most dangerous things about drugs is that you can't be sure, you can't know exactly what you're getting.
When you're buying a drug on the street, you don't know exactly what's in it. They can mix different drugs together, or they can put other mixtures in it that could be dangerous for your body.
If you're gonna try drugs, the stupidest thing would be to think that I'm just trying it, it's not gonna affect anything.
Some of the dangers of experimenting with drugs are, one, you don't know how it's going to affect you personally. Could affect you totally different than how it affected your friend, and that you could have a bad reaction to it.
There's so many mixed messages going out. Your parents say don't do drugs. There's some friends who do drugs and some who don't. I just make it clear that I don't do that.
I don't want to risk my life for something that may be fun once.
Your friends will respect you more for standing up for what you believe in.